right. Well, for me, that was a heck of a 2 hours right there, or whatever it was. Thought it was a big-time college basketball game. You know, we felt like coming in, Auburn's as good as anybody, and I think they showed that tonight. Their shot making, their physicality, their depth. But I really thought that our guys were tough as could be. I think we've learned from some of these other games we've been in. For Cooper, you know, to have no turnovers and to have 22, 11, and 4 as a 17-year-old, I'm not sure how many 17-year-olds could play in this game, let alone do what he did. I thought he had a special toughness about him, and I thought our entire team did. And I'm sure you guys will ask me about him, and I'm going to just tell you how proud I am of Isaiah Evans. You know, you got to have – he's you know, I get to see him every day in practice, and part of this is, you know, sometimes you don't play as much as you want to or don't play, and it's a long year, and the attitude that he's had every day in practice, coming up to the coaches, not working on shooting, believe it or not, want to work on his defense, want to work on his rebounding, understanding rotations and coverages. And, you know, it's, I think, a great lesson for young players, but it's the combination of being pissed he wants to play. And I want guys to be pissed and have that edge about him. And he has that at the same time of having the humility to just attack every single day. And then there's the third part of having amazing courage in this game to come in and do what he did. I don't know if I've been a part of something like that in my years here. Maybe a couple guys I'm not thinking of, but just special performance in a special moment when we needed them. And so proud of our team. I'll say two more things that are key for me. To fast break points, 16-0. That's a coach's dream right there. And then for us to have 4 turnovers against Auburn. You know, we've had 13, 15, and 16 the last 3 games. Those two things to me were the difference.
Jon, how would you describe Cooper's growth over the last couple of weeks? He had no turnovers tonight. They were really being physical with him. He played his best in the second half, especially compared to, you know, how the Kentucky and Kansas games did.
Night and day. I mean, he's to be able to coach him and he never fights you. You know, like he just never fights you. He's always, you know, in a game you can get on him. In practice, he's always wanting to get better, and in every aspect of his game. And I just think the strength that he's playing with. You know, I've always felt like Cooper's a one-time guy. He needs to experience something one time, you know, to get adjusted. I saw that at USA. I've seen that in high school when he's had tough moments. And, you know, really in this short of a time frame, it's a month, right, whatever it is, to see the growth and in big-time moments, you know, to create shots against high-level defenders. Thought that was big. And then, again, I think he had 10 rebounds in the first half. You know, his rebounding was incredible, and you know, 4 assists. We always track potential assists. I think tonight was another night he had 10+ potential assists, which he's been having for us. So I just can't say enough about his attitude and his competitiveness in those moments.
Jon, when we saw you Friday night after Seattle, you were eager to get to practice finally sometime. So how did you sort of spend these days with kind of the focus of what you wanted to get done and maybe having a chance to reset these guys ahead of a game like this?
Well, I think the first thing is just any game we play, no matter the circumstances, to put our best foot forward. And I didn't feel we did that. And, you know, they're a tough team to prepare for because they run an offense like nobody else. You know, they run this, you know, I don't want to just call it a flex offense. It's more complex than that, but it's different. So our guys, you know, obviously we have a bunch of freshmen playing. I'm not sure we'll ever play against that again unless it's them. So it's a different type of preparation. So the time was really important for us, and then also just time to recover. You know, because it's been a grind for us, and we have to get refreshed and ready for Sunday, of course. But I think those two things were the most important.
Jon, they started out 13-2. You were very quick to call timeout, but then you guys went on a 13-3 run.
At least I could see the score this time. The Kansas game got me the same, and I'm just trying to figure out. At least I knew the score was 13-2. The Kansas game, I'm guessing, and so.
But what did you say in that timeout? Because the response was you guys went on a 13-3 run, held them, the #1 offense in the country, without a basket for 3 straight minutes.
Play defense. You know, I mean, we didn't get one stop that whole time, and for us, part of our game we really emphasize getting out in transition. It's hard to do that if you're not getting stops and they're bearing threes and getting layups. And just to settle them down. Like, they were so ready to play. So, for us, we've always emphasized first 4 minutes. And for us, this year, we really emphasized the first 4 and every 4. Like, no matter what happens the first 4, we have to be, if we're winning, gotta keep your foot on the gas. And if you're losing, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna find it at some time. And that's been our mindset. And I'd rather not get down 13-2. That's not what we're trying to do. But to have that mindset, I think it speaks to the character.
Jon, I know you said that the first 3 games, Kentucky, Arizona, Kansas, helped you in this one. Where do you think that showed up the most? Maybe you just answered the sequence with being down 13-2 and immediately responding. That
for sure. But I thought it helped us the most in closing time. Just middle of that second half, that's when the game's in the balance of you can either extend it or, usually against a team like Auburn, they're going to find a way to fight back and make it close, which they did. But I thought the key plays of playing through resistance on offense and just finding a way on defense to come up with balls. And overall, look, we gave them too many offensive rebounds, but I thought that we showed growth, in those moments.
Jon, one of the things that tied the Kansas and Kentucky games together was Coop getting into trouble with his handle late and turning it over. It seemed like in this game that when it was late, you weren't trying to rely entirely on him. Was that by design, just the flow? How did that look?
Well, we put enough on him in the 37 minutes, and it can't just be him. And for me, coaching this team, I think we got maybe a little stagnant at the end of those games, and we have other really good players too. And so you want to get movement, but look, end of the day, you still want Cooper to touch it because Cooper's going to find the right guy. So I think for us, we spent a lot of time. You asked me about this weekend. We spent a lot of time on game situations too. So knowing what we're going to go to, where it's not just calling something random. There's and for us, being those moments was helpful, but then also getting some movement and then getting to our action and Cooper touching. I think that's the balance we have to strike.
Jon putting Sion in the starting lineup, was it just because it was his birthday yesterday? And
I'm not that nice. And it's today, by the way. It's today.
How did you feel about the way Caleb responded?
Caleb, man, I believe so much in Caleb, and I think he'd be the first to say he hasn't gone off to the year he would like so far. We need him so badly just to be himself, and I think you saw tonight who Caleb really is, and that's a breakdown guy, ready to make shots for himself or to create for others. I thought he was competitive and had just a maturity and a great response about him. And throughout even this season, I didn't start Tyrese the first preseason game. Caleb, Sion, Malik, and Kaman. We have no question more than 5 guys that could start. No question. Some of it was Auburn too. They're bigger, and what I'm trying to figure out is rotations, like who can play well together, and coming in with some scoring firepower. I thought that helped us tonight with Caleb. I don't know what we're going to do going forward, but the lineup construction of how to have the best 5 when Cooper's out, when Khan's out, when Kaman and Malik, who balances those guys out, something we're trying to work through.
Jon, obviously you like the threes from Isaiah, but the way he competed defensively and on the boards, what do you think about that, and in particular that loose ball defensive rebound he had in the first half that was kind of mixed in with that flow of threes?
It's growth. Yeah, it's big time growth, and it's his work ethic, it's his self-belief, and I thought he had a really good game, and I told him at halftime, not because of the shooting, it's because of the defense and the competitiveness. And I've told Isaiah a couple times through this process, like he has spirit's the word that comes to mind, and he's got an amazing spirit. And so sometimes when you don't play, the last thing I want to have happen is to lose your spirit. Like attack what you have to get better at. And he even had one in the second half where he stuck his nose in there, and I think it was a jump ball, it ended up being, but that was because of him. So just really proud of him, man. Really proud of him.
Jon, after the game, Bruce said that he felt like you all out-toughed this team. How big a deal is that for you all and what you're trying to accomplish, especially with just the differences in age, experience, whatever it might be between these two?
Sure. I mean, look, to me, it's what defines Duke basketball. And I think sometimes on the outside, people have a misconception of what Duke basketball is all about, and it's built on toughness and competitiveness. And I look, even after the losses, I mean, every loss we have is heartbreaking for me. I don't want to lose. But I've known we have something with this group. It's just they have special character, special toughness. We've got a lot to work on still. But to me, Auburn's as tough as anybody. You know, they're as tough as anybody. They're as experienced as anybody. They have, 10 seniors or something like that. And I thought down the stretch we made the tough plays in order to win.
Coach, you limited Broom to be pretty inefficient on offense, especially in the first half. What was the defensive game plan there? How did you guys execute?
Well, they make it tough on you. And the thing that scared me the most was his passing. You know, teams have doubled him, and all of a sudden, I mean, he's led them in assists, the last few games because he just gets guys open threes and open dunks. And so for us, it's to have a 1-2 punch and come on, Malik has a lot to do with it. You have a 7'2" guy that can move his feet, and then you have a guy, in Malik, that's 6'9" and has the best hands I've ever coached. He has a way to get deflections and come up with the ball. And I thought they had some great sequences. He got his late. I'm not sure it's even him. I think it was. I'm not taking anything away from him. He is as good as anybody in the country. But some of it was pick and roll and the guards creating. And so, again, it's a luxury to have those two guys.
You kind of segued right into my question. You probably can't tell it from looking at the score sheet, but what kind of impact did Malik have, especially on the defensive end, and also in helping you guys kind of match their toughness after that start?
Yeah, Malik he's a winner. He's another guy that's on the floor that's not looking to score. I actually want him to look to score more because he can. But 3 offensive rebounds. He just makes timely plays. And every game, we tell him to go do what you do. And Malik, that means deflections, that means guarding everybody, rebounding. Guys love playing with him, and I think you see why when you watch him play every game.
All right, last one here.
You talked about Broom pick and roll just now, but it seemed like that was really where Auburn was kind of able to get rolling a little bit offensively in the second half. Previously, what did you guys do to sort of take away some of those spread flex concepts so they've just been sort of dicing people up with so far this season?
Well, we were just committed to not giving them layups in that, and having, when you're 6'6" or above across the board, switching. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt you, but for us, we were willing to take the switch, and if they want to throw it, try to find Broom every time, then do it. But we were committed to not giving up layups in the threes out of the flex. I thought for the most part we did a good job, which is why they went to pick and roll, which we didn't do a good job. But honestly, some of them I think we did. Pettiford made some big time plays, man, and it's one of those things. You're scouting it. You're talking about Pettiford. You're talking about Kelly, who we played a lot. But I thought their offense was better than our defense at times, and it wasn't that bad. So our guys to be able to execute that game plan. The flex offense, they run it faster than our scout team does. And our scout team runs it fast. They did a great job to prepare us, but they run it faster, quicker, and obviously their shot making. So, all right, thank you guys.
Thank you.